looked at the snake, and then I realized it. So I ran out there, and I went out and put some boots on, and I got a shovel, and I came back, and anyways, I don't want to describe the whole thing, but it was gruesome, and it involved blood on my wife's shoes.
That would... You weren't going to explain it.
Well, he was...
Now we have PETA after us.
I was content to have him be in the garage. I was content to have him be out front, but he was like in the bathroom, in the bedroom, and it made me nervous. So anyway, I hacked him, and he bled all over my wife's shoes. Anyway, I know this is probably... Send a letter to 1-800... I love snakes, and we'll send you a bumper sticker with that on. But anyway,
was there a point to the story?
Yeah, there was. So anyway, I basked in the glory of having slain the snake, which to me was sort of like a dragon. You know, it was kind of like a hero. Maybe not so much, but. About 2 weeks later, I got up into the bathroom, to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I see that snake, or a snake, on the ground. And I jump up on the bed, and I scream like a little boy or a little girl. Gender neutral here. It was a child. I jumped on the bed.
That was good. You said boy first.
I started screaming, and my wife's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Well, what I was doing was what people do. Here's what we do. When we're in a situation, and it's a traumatic situation, the next time we're in that situation, we don't actually have to have the whole situation to respond really big to it. We only have to have a couple elements of it. It was kind of snake-like, right?
Yeah.
It was on the floor.
Yeah.
And my brain was not going to wait for me to like bend down and try to pick it up before it said snake.
Right.
And this is what happens to people. They're in a traumatic situation and they get a couple pieces of the trauma.
So those triggers, like when people say, for just your every person out there, like flashbacks. You know, when you see people in Vietnam, they'll hear a helicopter and have a flashback.
You only have to have like one piece of it. The way our brains work, because it's an early warning system. You don't. If you're being attacked by a lion, you don't wait till you feel its fur. You know, you don't have to go feel its teeth. Like, I'm not sure this is a lion. Sure, it roared like a lion, and I know that it looks like a lion. But until I feel it, I'm not going to really... Okay, that's what dead people say. Right? That's what dead people... The way that we have survived is we've seen a couple pieces of that, and even from a distance, right? And we've like, that kind of looks like a lion. And we were like, you know what? I don't know, but I'm getting out of here, right?
Yeah.
So you think about a lot of people, and we kind of said it humorously, but a lot of people are almost tortured because they're in a situation that is somewhat similar to another situation, and it brings them back as if they were in that original situation.
Right.
They have their reaction like that. I had a client who was abused by somebody who smoked. Every time she smelled cigarette smoke, it would put her back into that situation.
Wow.
I had a student who was attacked along a dark street. Before, she was fine walking by herself along a street or at night. After that time, and some of you know this because if you've been in a situation, it was a perfectly okay situation, and then something happened, and then after that, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't like that situation anymore. Whatever it is. I was hit from behind one time by a car. And then after that, for probably till this day, if a car comes up real fast in back of me, I'll like prepare for impact. My body remembers the original hit, and it's sort of locked in my body. And so I look up and I after the car accident for a couple of years, I would watch every car that came up to me in the rearview mirror.
Yes.
And I would grip the steering.
He also slams on the brakes.
I slam on the brakes.
Like at normal intersections, like a car's turning, it's definitely turning. He will slam on and off the brakes, literally
that's
to the
true.
car. It's definitely true. Yeah, it's interesting because I wonder how deep that goes, because I've had problems with my neck and my back, and nerve issues from some herniations in my back and some problems like that, and nerves, and they're all throughout your body. Like your nerve endings are in your stomach, in your hands, in your feet, your ears, and it's all connected. So like people think of like, okay, I had a trauma and that trauma was, my foot. But you can have back pain from that, So I'm thinking about, okay, there's millions of connections in your body, but your brain has infinitely more connections. So how deep could this really go? People could have these somatic responses, and other responses.
Well, and it's not just the things. So I told you about the snake. That's what turned on, right?
And then norepinephrine, epinephrine,
adrenaline. But for everything that turns on, there's also stuff that turns off. So the vagus nerve is one of the biggest nerves in your body. Second biggest, only secondary to the spinal column or to the spinal cord, and it is responsible for turning stuff off. That is, you have a sympathetic nervous system, which speeds things up and dilates your pupils and gets you ready to fight or flight or freeze, actually. The parasympathetic shuts things down, and it also is responsible for your immune system and for digestion. The problem can be, for a lot of people, that when they are in a flight or fight situation or a trauma or a lot of anxiety, what they're doing is they're affecting that vagus nerve, and they're affecting their digestion, their immune system, a lot of other symptoms. Because when you're revved up and nervous about things, and it makes sense, if you're going to be eaten by a tiger, you're not worried about dying from an illness, right?
Or lose a job, or
losing
have a
job,
or these stressors.
You're concerned about, if I don't take care of this thing, I'm not making it till tomorrow. This is not a long. I'm not worried about digesting that food right now.
Right.
Because I won't.
Subconsciously.
I will be food.
Right.
I will be somebody's food if I don't take care of this. So it's a survival mechanism which is made for a short-term period. Now, let's say that you're in that period of time, or you think you're in that period of time, for a longer amount, right? It extends. Your stomach keeps being shut down, your immune system starts being affected, it starts affecting different parts of your body, and your body remembers those experiences. I've seen people who have been victims of explosions, of car accidents, of attacks, and they will still almost flinch in the direction of where they've been attacked from, in the direction of where the explosion was from, in the direction of whatever, because the body is still remembering that insult that came, right?
I see the body language. I pay attention to that. I think, along with what he just said, we don't listen to our bodies very well. We don't do a daily inventory on our bodies, but one of the top selling things in America is ibuprofen. Another one is antacids. Another one is Benadryl. You probably have all these things in your house. Vitamin C.
That's a really good point.
Emergency packets.
Because you're affecting all the major circuits with just those, I mean, those are just basic medications.
Yeah.
But I mean, a study by Duke University they did it on people with heartbreak.
Yeah.
And they found that taking an ibuprofen could lessen their feelings of hurt during a heartbreak, because some of the same circuits that we experience emotional pain are the same circuits that run on physical pain. Right. I mean, we usually think about these things as completely separate. Like, right. I'm experiencing a physical thing that hurts. I'm experiencing an emotional thing that hurts. It's probably a lot more intertwined and closer than we think. And as a result, well, you know that almost experientially, because if you've had a breakup with somebody, or you've had somebody die who's significant to you, it like physically hurts. I mean, it actually, my dad died last year, and I remember after the funeral and around that experience, and it physically felt like there was a pain there, and I think there actually was a pain there as a result of it. And even if I talk about it now, I can almost pull that up again. So we tend to like separate these into categories. Oh, here's the body over here, and then over here is all my brain and my thoughts and my affect and my emotions and what I think. And I think what we're saying in a big overview here is that these actually are very much united, and I don't think you pull them apart. And in a trauma, they're so united that unless you pay attention to your body and the experience, I don't think you're really getting down to the root of it.